let's get into the superpower state first, and then I'll come round and check with everybody. All right, so take a deep breath, close your eyes, and get into your superpower state however you do that. So either using your word or phrase, or by imagining hugging someone or something you love. Very good. And notice the feeling in your chest. Expand your heart. Feel your heart expanding. And that beautiful light or energy shining out from it. Very good. And imagine that light or energy spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy. And now allow it to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Fill each cell, love each cell just for existing. Very good. And now imagine the little you, yourself as a child, any age, and fill that little you with that same light, that energy. Love that little you just for existing. Good job. And now let's go back to your subject. Fill your subject with that light, that energy. Love them just for existing. Very good. And now imagine they don't want to be with you. They're either rejecting you or they're unhappy in some way, and keep them filled with that light, that energy. Love them anyway. Good job. And now allow that light or energy, that love, to spread out from you and fill the whole group here. Everybody who's in the group today, fill all of them with that love, that light, that energy. Good job. All right, you can open your eyes. Very good. And so I'm going to come around and check how everybody's doing. And if you've got any questions or comments, and if you have any targets for today. So, Anne, I know you haven't, you're new. And so just to let you know, so what we do, we check in with everybody. And then if you've got a target that you'd like us to all aim our unconditional love power at, let us know. We'll put it on the list. You don't have to give details. It can just be, I have someone I'm thinking, or I have an issue I'm dealing with right now. So whatever that is, and we can just aim it without any details. All right, so Kathy, I'm really sorry, but you are the first one at the top of the screen. But I can skip you if you like. Kathy's always first.
This will be familiar to you, Odille. I'm doing great, but I'm going to get better.
Very good. Good job.
Some version of that.
It sounds very familiar to me, yes.
I thought it
Something
might.
Steve always says, if for those who don't know.
Exactly.
Very good. Good
so
job.
I do have something, but I think I will keep it till the inner circle.
Okay. All right. Very good. Putting you on mute and going over to Carrie. Good morning, Carrie. How are you today?
Well, I have some good news.
Good.
And some bad news.
Okay.
Which would you prefer to have first?
Always the good news.
Okay. Well, the good news is that I was able to hold on a second.
It's all right.
All right. The good news is that I was able to kind of make my headache better just by getting into the superpower state.
Good.
Last night. And the bad news is that no matter no matter how much I tried to imagine being yelled at, it would not only wipe away my superpower state, but I was unable to get it back until just last night.
Okay. All right, and that's just from imagining it. So that's that's without it actually happening, or did it happen as well?
Well, it happened, but at the time I was not being yelled at.
Okay. All right. So two things. Number one, let's put that on the target. Steve, are you able to keep track of targets? Thank you. Let's put that on the target list today. And let's pray. And I still say continue practicing. So get into that state without, not when you're in the experience, but when you're not in the experience, keep practicing. When you can get into that superpower state, aim it at the idea of being yelled at, so that you're not in the situation, to strengthen your skill. Now, it's important to remember that all of this, and in fact all other self-development work, is not a straight line. It's never like we do this and then this works and then we reach our goals. Everything is a journey, and it's up and down. Just like when you go to the gym and you try to get fit, or you aim to get fit, it takes a while. Some days are good, some days are terrible. Some days you don't feel like getting out of bed. Some days you feel like you could, lift a car. Some days you feel strong, some days you don't. So emotionally and mentally, when we're making changes, that it's exactly the same. So when you find you can't do it, give yourself a break, go, it's okay. This is just part of the journey, and I will do it next time. Now, in addition to that, Carrie, it's, of course, there's going to be childhood memories back there that are supporting this. So the whole thing of being yelled at, ask yourself, what's the worst thing about being yelled at? And then how does it feel when you're yelled at? And then where in your childhood did you have that feeling? It may not be to do with being yelled at, but it will be the same feeling. And when you get that feeling, change those memories to the opposite, positive and empowering. Does that sound good?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Because everything we do, everything we experience, no matter what it is we can't experience anything unless we have a reference for it. So I'm saying for everybody else as well, if you're experiencing something, there is a reference for it in your childhood. And if you can't find what it is, just go to the nearest one you can find. And then when you change that, you may find either your subconscious automatically changes the rest, or it will bring up something that's connected that you'd forgotten about. And you go, oh yeah, I remember that. All right, Carrie?
All right, thank you.
Right. You're very welcome, sweetheart. And what I want to say is what you're aiming for, just so I like to give people the end goal. What you're aiming for is to be able to hear that person yelling and not feel anything, and just feel, because whoever's yelling, it's what they're doing. The yelling is coming from their programs. It has absolutely nothing to do with you, right? It's their issues coming from their own childhood. So you can look at them like you would perhaps look at someone, doing a weird dance, like, okay, whatever rocks your boat. Well, not rocks your boat, whatever floats your boat, right? You don't want to rock the boat. That's a very different thing. But yeah, so remind yourself that whatever's going on with them, whatever they're doing, is coming from their own references in their childhood. And you are only responsible for how you're feeling, which is based on your childhood. So you change that and practice the superpower state, and then it doesn't matter what they do. And what you'll find is that when you're no longer playing together, when you're no longer hitting the ball back to them or doing the dance with them, they stop doing what they're doing, usually, because there's nothing to do with, it's not very entertaining to keep hitting a ball if nobody hits it back.
Yes.
All right.
But the guy that keeps yelling at me, he's kind of like not your average bear.
Okay.
In terms of like what you would expect to happen.
Yeah.
So
So the first question to ask, and I think I know the answer to this because we've known you for a while, but I'm asking this question as well for anybody else watching, and especially anybody watching the recording. So Carrie, the first question is, are you in physical danger?
No.
Right. Okay. So then that's okay. Obviously, for anybody watching and anyone watching the recording, if you are in physical danger, then you address that first, and as a top priority, you do whatever it takes to get out of physical danger. So that's really, really important. That's the first top priority. If you're not in physical danger, Carrie, then the next thing is to really focus on the fact that if they are yelling at you, as long as you're not in physical danger, there is nothing that they're doing that's affecting you. What you're feeling is your own chemical state. And it feels really real, I know that. But you are literally feeling stress chemicals inside your own body, no matter what they're saying, no matter what they're doing, as long as they're not physically attacking you. So the idea is to practice holding that superpower state, regardless of what's going on around you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because what's going
like what should I tell him?
Okay, so
should I ignore him?
So well, it depends. So is he expecting an answer? Is he asking questions?
Yes, he asks questions.
Okay. And so what do you normally answer? Or you don't have to say the real thing, but just give me an example so I can give you an alternative.
In the past, I have tried to answer him, but he just interrupts me.
Okay. So then I would say, can we do this later, or give me some time, something like that, and then go quiet and be on your, work on your own things. And you can say it nicely. You can say, I'm sorry, I need some time. And then let him do his thing. Let him, let him rage and say whatever he's saying. Yeah. And you can just nod and say, and inside, be sure to be doing your superpower.
Okay.
All right. And what could also help is writing something out. So if you want to write something like, 1 second, or 1 moment, or something like that, and just point to that if necessary. Does that sound doable?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And you keep your focus on how you're feeling, and let him throw his tantrum, let him have his moment. As long as it's not physically affecting you, let him do it. And so for everybody else as well, we tend to, because of the survival instinct, we have, most of us, and the way most of us were raised, we have a drive to make someone okay, to stop them from being angry, to stop them from being upset. That is a primal instinct. So but of course that very often just hits the ball back, and then it just makes it worse. The most empowering thing is to go inside and go very calm and send that love to that person. Send your power to that person. Not send your power, you know what I mean? Aim your power at them. Aim that light into the darkness, even as they're doing their bit. And at the very least, it'll keep you strong and empowered. And you may notice a change in them as well from doing that. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, my angel. And here's the thing, changing your childhood memories is going to make it easier to do that as well, because you won't have the references.
Okay.
All right, Carrie, and thank you for sharing, because there may be other people in the same situation, and we've added that to the target list. All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, who's up next? Katrina. Hey, how are you today?
Yes, I am. I feel like a new me.
Hmm,
How
very
about that?
good.
Hmm. So I've learned how to pronounce your name correctly.
Okay,
So, what is it? So, Odille, yeah?
very good. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So this is to you. I would like to say the following to you. Okay, I'm repeating myself, but here. You are just like me. So referring back to yesterday,
Yes.
what happened yesterday. You are just like me in that you are simply the best, and I am so grateful to you and for you as you have given me the gift of me.
Fantastic. That is wonderful, and you are so very, very welcome. I'm so proud of you, Katrina. Really wonderful. Yay for you. Look at you go.
Yeah.
Because when you first came to this group, you didn't know much about any of this, did you? Of what we do.
Not yours, but Robert, I was following his, and I done
Okay,
stuff with
yeah.
him on Facebook.
Right, yes.
And
So, but you've made some wonderful strides in this time.
oh, thank you. Well,
Yes.
you're great teachers.
Well, we absolutely love what we do. So thank you for sharing that, Katrina. I'm so excited for you. I really am. Good
Okay.
job. And thank you for being such a beautiful, shiny example.
Okay.
All right, sweetheart. And then Boguslawa. Good morning. Yes, good morning. You're this side of the world. How are you today?
I am okay. Yesterday I was frustrated because now my life was difficult, but now with this situation is more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more frustrated, and I don't know. It's like,
So what's the worst thing about it?
going to the store, you have to wait in line outside for like half an hour, 1 hour, or you don't go to the store. They give you just what you need, and it's like you're coming home and I clean like 2 hours, everything I disinfect, I wash my hands million times, and still I'm afraid maybe there is the crap or here is. It's like constantly, it's like really, and I'm not working right now. If I'm gonna be working, it's impossible to keep everything clean like that and disinfect. It's like much worse than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm struggling. I have something I'm going to talk today about, maybe in the inner cycle.
Circle, yeah, no, inner circle. That's it, yeah.
So, but yeah, I know there is the program with the struggling. I found something to struggle to holding me something back, and this is, I think, big stuff. I can't go through this.
Yeah.
This thing.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. So first of all, well done for reaching out for letting us know about it. And yes, so in the inner circle today, we'll be able to go into more depth and find those references. So for in the meantime, and for anyone else going through similar things, you'll have noticed that different people have different reactions to the situation. I mean, as it happens, it's a very unusual situation where the whole world pretty much is in the same boat, kind of thing. And so we're getting different reactions from everybody all over the world. And what makes the difference between someone who is frightened and someone who's frustrated and feeling held back and feeling like they can't do what they want to do, and someone who is adapting and making the most of it and getting creative and productive, and someone who hasn't really noticed very much and is just kind of doing what they normally do. What makes the difference between all those people is not the circumstances, because now we know everybody's pretty much in similar circumstances. What makes the difference are two things. The first is the childhood references. So what they experience as a child that now proves how I react to what's going on, to what I'm experiencing now. And secondly, where they're putting their focus. So I'll give you an example. We, let's say, well, I'll use your example. So you go to the store and you have to wait for half an hour to an hour in order to get into the store. Tell me what that means to you.
Wasting my time.
Good, very good. Yes, wasting time. So, and I would have felt the same a few years ago. That's absolutely what I would have felt. I'm wasting time. I've got so much to do. There's that feeling, right? I tell you what I do now. I go into the superpower state and I take it as an opportunity to practice and experiment. So get in, but pre-pave. So I can't remember who else we were speaking to someone and suggesting pre-pave before you go to the store. So get into the superpower state before you go. Send love to the whole store and everyone who's there. Imagine yourself in the store, I mean, in the line, sorry, waiting to get into the store, and fill that version of you with that same light, that love, no matter what happens. Love you anyway, love the whole situation anyway. Then when you go, maintain that state as much as you can. If you find you come out of it, that's okay. Just get back into it. Like falling off a bike, you get back on. And then when you're in the line, make the conscious intention of doing an experiment. Treating it as an experiment. So you're standing there, you're in your superpower state, get it as strong as you can, and imagine it overflowing from you and filling everyone else in the queue, in the line. Fill all those people with that superpower, with that light, with that love. Love them all just for existing. Fill the whole store. Love it all just for existing, to see what happens. All right, so treat it as a curiosity, as an experiment. Be curious and say, I wonder what would happen if I did this. We don't know. Maybe something will happen, maybe something won't, but see. Test it. Okay, that's number one. The second thing is make sure you don't have anything else that you have to get back to, so that you've taken that. Allow more time than you think you need, or allow more time than you think it will take, because then you take that pressure off you as well. So allow more than enough time and expect it to go for 2 hours. Expect to stand outside the store for 2 hours. And then it's been an hour. It's like, oh, already, goodness me. Okay, it was fast today. So that's changing your perception to change your chemical state, because feeling frustrated about it, feeling stressed about it, feeling annoyed about it, I wish it wasn't this way, why does it have to? All of that is pumping stress chemicals into your system, and it's not going to make it change. It's not going to make anything go faster. It's not going to change the whole situation. So you might as well be in that strong, empowered state, number one, anyway. And number two, it may well affect the world around you in ways that you haven't thought of. Does that all make sense so far?
Yes, of course. I mean, this was like the first day. After the first day when I was in that big line, it was okay. I say, yeah, that's okay. But second day I go out, third day I go out, I had to do many different things. And as I start to get frustrated, like, yes, today was like too much, I think. I don't know.
Yes, and I know that feeling well. And I know for me, it used to feel like I was being patient, I was being tolerant, but it pushed and pushed and pushed until I cracked. I remember that feeling really, really well. So I do understand it. And the best thing I can say is just keep getting back on, So yesterday was a bad day and you had whatever you had reaction that. And then let that go. You don't have to hold on to that moving forward. You can just go, that was a bad day. I fell off the bike and that's okay. I don't have to lie in the grass and kick my legs around like I'm trying to ride the bike from here.
This is funny because I am using bike. I don't have a car.
There you go.
That's on my
Don't fall off your bike.
And I didn't, so.
Well, that's a mercy. There's something. the other thing, Boguslawa, I mean, okay, so that's one part. The second part is, of course, change any childhood references for that. Whatever it means, I'm wasting time. How does it feel? Go to your childhood, change that, of course, and practice the new ones. And thirdly, just on a practical level, get an audiobook. Get an audiobook that you are interested in, that would feel nice to listen to. So Audible, I'm sure you've heard of Audible. Get an Audible book and listen to it while you're waiting in the queue, because then you will be disappointed it's not longer. Especially if you only listen to that book while you're waiting in the line. So you'll be looking forward to it. You'll be thinking, oh, I can't wait to go and wait in line. I hope it's a long time today so I can listen to my book. Does that sound good?
Yeah, this is good.
Good job.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Angel. All right. Thank you for sharing. And I'm going to go on to Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. How are you today?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Sorry I missed yesterday. I had I told you about the Zoom thing on church on Sunday, so we had a meeting about that right at 11. So I missed everyone. But I think thank you. I'm feeling pretty good today. I have this weird thing that is a repeated pattern with my eyes, where sometimes I wake up and I can't see. Like, no matter what I do, I have the same glasses that I wear every day. But I know it's all in my, you know, when I had a lot of dreams, I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to process. Yes. So, so today I'd like to focus on that. I'm trying to be able to see, not, you know, physically, because I know that's just a manifestation of what's going on inside, but just to give me a path.
Very good. Yes. So Steve, are you okay to add that to the list? You got that? Cheryl's eyesight, fantastic. Thank you.
And then, Odille, do you mind if I share that little quick thing I wanted to do, if the group wanted to do it?
Absolutely. I did read your message out to them yesterday, and I see there are already 2 emails with photos, and someone else asked, but do go ahead by all means.
And you don't have to, but I just thought it would be so cute if because we all had times when we were younger when we didn't have felt like we didn't have friends. So I thought it would be really nice to have a visual.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I've suggested that people either email their photos to me and then I can forward them on to you, or they can upload them in the new Facebook group, the New Memories Garden.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Cheryl. And it is a beautiful idea. All right. So Anne, good morning. And I know you're brand new.
Good morning, Odille. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. And you, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I have good days and bad days. Kind of a bit apprehensive about the lockdown.
Right.
I kind of don't want it to continue today, and maybe tomorrow I'm thinking, oh God, it should continue. So it's a kind of, you know, between a rock and a hard place, really.
Yes, yes, yes. I can understand that. And what's the worst thing about the lockdown? What is it that's wrong, that's bad about it?
It's a lack of control, probably.
Yes.
You have no control of what you do, where you go, things like that.
That makes sense. And you're not alone. I think a lot of people are feeling that,
Yes.
You know, especially when one is used to being able to do whatever, and then it's very sudden. It wasn't a gradual thing. So yes, that effect is you know, a lot of people are feeling that. So Steve, if you could add that to the list as well, thank you. And in addition to that, of course, you can, we'll do it today, we'll aim at it today. And then in addition to that, you can find out where in your childhood you didn't have control. What is this reminding you of, and change that. Very
Perfect.
good. And
Thank
welcome.
you.
We're so happy to have you with us.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And Ashley, you're also new. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Lovely to see you.
I've been watching your replays actually.
Oh, good. Yes.
Yeah, so super helpful, and
Good.
yeah. And I've been working with Steve, and yeah, so he mentioned the hi Steve. So yeah, so I just wanted to actually catch one live, and
fantastic. And do you have any questions or any target to aim at today that you'd like us to aim at?
I would say, well, I brought this up to Steve, I think, in email yesterday. So right now it's, I guess I know the subconscious trying to keep me where I am and not going out, but it's that negative side, when the negative thoughts come, and then it's like every memory linked, anything I could find that's negative, and they keep perpetuating. So it's like, you know, the one negative, obviously it fires together, wires together, and so they all start flooding, but then you get in this negative spin, and before you know it, because of the cortisol and everything, you feel like crap. So I knew that, like, Tuesday night, I just spun in my head, and then yesterday all day I knew I felt so much anxiety, which I knew is a manifestation of the, you know, the thinking, because it all starts with your thoughts. So I'm aware of that, but I guess short-term solution, if you have any ideas, like, to stop that when you're in it, whether it's the tapping, sometimes I'll do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 switch, or I'll do the cut, you know, of writing that own screenplay and cutting it now, because the negative thinking is not helping.
Yeah. Good idea.
So just more like,
so I have a couple of suggestions. So the first one is, of course, and this is the most effective one, but it's not always possible, is to catch it early. So the reason that it gets to the point where you can't change, you can't pull yourself out of it. I'm just going to mute you because I think my voice, there we go. I think my voice is echoing on your side. The reason it's so hard to pull yourself out, and Steve and I both know that feeling really well. So, you know, we're both very familiar with it, and we know how hard it can be. And, you know, experiencing that has been one of the reasons we've created what we have, because when that's happened, we've thought, okay, so how do we help other people, you know, pull themselves out of this? So a couple of things. The reason it's so hard to pull yourself out of those negative feelings, and you may already know this, is that stress chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, are stronger than feel-good chemicals. So because they're for our survival. So once you've already got those stress chemicals in your system, and the longer the higher the concentration, then it's very hard to pull yourself out. So it's like having a bath full of hot water where the hot water tap's been running, and then you want to switch off the hot water and let the cold water run, but it's going to take a long time before that bath gets cold because the hot water's already there. So, and if you add to that the hot water tap, the stress chemicals, goes faster, then you've got the little cold water tap. So, the first step is catching it early. So as soon as you notice a negative thought or a negative feeling, immediately redirect your focus. And where you can redirect it to is hugging the little you. Imagine yourself as a child and just hug that little you and go, it's okay, sweetie, you're all right, you're all right. Just reassure the way you would with a real child, with another child. And color your favorite color. So that's another thing that's an easier redirect than perhaps, let me be positive. So just take a deep breath and imagine yourself surrounded by your favorite color, feel the feeling of the color, and keep redirecting, as your mind will wander off to the bad stuff. It's going to do that because, again, we're designed to survive. So we're designed to pay attention to the bad stuff, because it's more important to pay attention to the wild animal that's going to attack us than to the pretty flowers. So we are designed that way. So it's a case of just reminding yourself of that and going, it's okay, and keep redirecting. So that's the second thing. The other thing is watching. So when it gets, so let's say you haven't been able to redirect. Oh, sorry. First of all, it takes only 60 to 90 seconds to make that change. From stress chemicals to feel-good chemicals takes only 60 to 90 seconds, as long as you're keeping your focus off the negative and on the positive for that minute and a half. Right? So a minute and a half. Sorry?
That's focusing on the color and the hug.
Right. Yes,
right. Okay.
And the hugging the little you. Or you can, so if it's, let's say it's already gone, you know, you're already in that state, it's already, you're already triggered, and it's hard to put yourself out, watch TV, watch comedy on TV, you know, your favorite sitcom, listen to music you love, uplifting music, play a game that you love, read a book that's uplifting, listen to an audiobook that's uplifting. If you're able to, and I know it's more difficult at this time, but if you're able to go out and do a walk or do some other physical exercise, do that, because physical exercise can help much quicker. It's very effective. Excuse me. So what I suggest is make a list of activities that you enjoy, and then you can refer to that list. So I see it as a kind of a fire drill thing. You know, on the back of a door in a hotel room, there's the steps for the fire drill. Go here, do this. Don't take your luggage with you. All of that. Do one of those for yourself, because when we are triggered, the prefrontal cortex goes offline, so we can't think straight. And I've had it myself, you know, in the past where I've gone, I don't know what videos to watch. I can't think of anything funny right now. So have a list of it that all you have to do when you're triggered is look at that list. That's all you have to do. You don't have to think anything. You just look at the list and go, right, that. If you've got it saved on your computer, you can just click a link. So that's the thing. Do whatever it takes to get it to focus, keep your focus on the thing. So sorry, I know you were trying to say something there.
Yeah, so for me, I find, so the physical activity, I'm actually a high level runner. So, but I'm finding, so that comes naturally, but what I'm finding for me though, is when I get in the negative spin, obviously it affects how I feel. And then for me, it's the opposite, then effects of wanting to get out the door, get the training in. I have Olympic dreams. So for me, like managing the mindset and the emotions is huge. And I usually have a good grasp, but I've had just some things that were re-triggered. So it's, you know, making sure I really work through those things. So I'm able to still have, because obviously they take up energy and thought takes up energy.
Absolutely.
You know, to get out the door, to get the training in, and, you know, not
absolutely. And
being
so
embodied and not in your head.
Yes. So catching it early is the most effective thing. So because what happens is we tend to think, oh, it's just a little thought and we go with it. And if you start thinking of thoughts of all negative thoughts are cockroaches. And so you don't want to let one, you know, if you see one cockroach in your house, even if it's a small one, you're not going to go, oh, it's just a small one. You're going to get rid of it because it will bring its friends. So those are negative thoughts. That's exactly what negative thoughts are. One negative thought, it's a slippery slope from there. And but we kind of trick ourselves to think, oh, well, I'll just go follow this path a little bit to see, you know, we don't think that consciously, but we have that tendency. So, for example, the situation at the moment, one minor thought, one apparently harmless thought might be, oh, so I wonder how many, you know, I wonder what the figures are now. I'm just curious. Or I wonder what people are saying about it. Or, oh, you know what, I wonder how long this will last. Or I wish I could do such and such. And that is the very beginning to, I'm never going to be able to do it again. And then it just adds and adds before we've realized it. And because it's on automatic, we're not consciously choosing those thoughts. So one of the things that I suggested in a previous session is get into the habit of asking yourself randomly throughout the day, do a random check throughout the day. Am I choosing this moment? Which means, am I choosing how I'm feeling and where I'm putting my focus in this moment? Where am I putting my focus and am I choosing it? And then that puts you in the driver's seat. And then you still may choose to focus on whatever you're focusing on, or you have the choice to change it. And if one gets into the habit of that, in fact, someone asked me this morning about lucid dreams. So I had a lucid flying dream last night, and someone asked me, did I train to become lucid, in other words, to realize it's a dream while I'm dreaming? And one of the techniques for that is checking during the day, am I dreaming? Checking, like, you know, things like my hand. If I look at my hand and then I look again, is it still the same, or is there something strange going on? And then you know you're dreaming, and then you become lucid. Do that with the thinking. What am I focusing on right now? check it, because if you are feeling a negative emotion, your focus is what's causing that. So it starts with the subconscious triggering it, of course, but then it's your focus automatically follows those feelings. And then it's a case of choosing, what am I focusing in the moment? So to recap, obviously changing childhood memories and practicing those, catching those thoughts and feelings early to switch them early, it's much easier. Of course, practicing the superpower more and more, you'll get better at it. It will become stronger, and you'll be able to use it more effectively, and you'll be able to pull yourself out more quickly, because your brain and body will get conditioned same way your body gets conditioned with physical exercise. It'll become conditioned chemically to spend more time producing feel-good chemicals than stress chemicals. And thirdly, when you redirect to hugging the little you, or the color, or both. And so have specifics and have a list of things that you can do, that you can refer to when you're triggered. Does that help?
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been in where, because again, it becomes your emotional state, and like autopilot, it becomes your automatic response. If you've ever felt like it's almost, I don't want to say impossible to get out of, but that's what's been running the show. And it's like, this is your new way. And as we know, thoughts are addictive, emotions are addictive, like they can become addictive. And, you see people addicted to crisis, addicted to drama, but it's like, so for me, that triggers fear, because I know staying in that is not where I want to be or where I want to go. And, so I'm like, is there a way to break it? I know there is, but when you're in that, like, okay, this is what's been running this show, so I've got to reprogram the show, where you're like, sort of question, is it possible? Is it doable?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you just,
we know exactly what you mean, and believe me, both Steve and I have been there. We're very familiar with it. So I'll give you an example, and it was actually around the time that I went to Anne's house. It was during that trip, I think, to Ireland, where I was in Northern Ireland at a friend's house, at Deirdre's house, for those who know, and Deirdre was out, and I had made a mistake on an invoice. A client had sent me an email saying there's a mistake on this invoice. And I went into the most over-the-top fear state. I felt like I was going to be shot at dawn. It was ridiculous, and I knew it was ridiculous. And I was walking, Deirdre was out. I was walking around Deirdre's house saying out loud to myself, this is ridiculous. I'm not in any danger. But I was terrified. And that's just the stress chemicals were pumping through my system, and I could not pull myself out of it. Even though I knew there was nothing wrong, all I had to do was correct the invoice and send it back. But because those chemicals were already in, and it was a big shot of those chemicals, I was listening to music, I was dancing around, I was tapping at that point, I was doing fast EFT, and eventually I put on a comedian, one of my favorite stand-up comedians, Michael McIntyre, and I put some of his stuff on, and it started to come down then. And then when Deirdre got back, she helped me find the child, and of course the memories were getting into trouble at school for not doing homework. So I changed those, and it came down, and then of course I was able to move forward and correct the invoice. But so what I'm saying is, I know it well, and I know Steve does as well with anxiety, same sort of thing. So, and it is a process. So there isn't a magic pill that we can just go, will you take this and then you won't feel the fear. It is just like there's no magic pill to get physically fit. You have to go through the process, and in the meantime, it's faster than getting physically fit, luckily, but it is still a thing of getting used to changing your focus and taking deep breaths and that. Now, having said that, Ashley, where in the world are you? Are you in America? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm in Canada.
You're in Canada. Okay.
Yeah.
Kathy,
North America,
she's also in Canada. All right. So there is something that Steve and I have been testing, and it looks good so far, that we are considering as a boost to what we do, that can help to take the edge off the negative feelings, to enable you to be able to do what we teach, you know, to pull out of it. So I will, we have your email. I'll send you an email to see if you, and you can do a sample of it and see and find out a little bit more about it and see if you want to try it. It's, at the moment, Steve and I are testing it on ourselves, and we're impressed with the results so far. And I've sent samples to 12 friends who are going to try it. They haven't started yet, but they'll get those soon, and we're going to see. And if it works, we'll start recommending it to others. But it is, the reason I asked where you are is because it's only in America, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand at the moment. So that's why I want to make sure you weren't in Europe. Okay, so I will send you the information on that. And in the meantime, treat where you're looking as you're driving. Wherever your focus is, or whatever you're paying attention to, is like you're heading in that direction. And so change your focus even when you don't feel like it. So I know there are times when you think, you know, but I've got to focus on this. I don't feel like watching something funny. I don't feel like listening to music. I certainly don't feel like dancing, but do it anyway. Because so what I said to myself at that time was, it doesn't take any effort to put Michael McIntyre on YouTube. It doesn't take any effort. It doesn't cost anything. So there's no reason not to do it. Oh, but I don't want to do it, and the invoice and do it anyway. Because and as an athlete, you'll know there are times when you have to just do it anyway when you don't feel like it. Does that help a bit?
Yeah, but I find, again, the longer that you've been in that state and that emotional, that conditioning, it's like.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why catching it early. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, I was just gonna, for those that have seen this, another video where we've talked about this before, the story of the time that I got really triggered when we were at friend's house down in Nashville.
Yes,
I woke up, I don't even know what this was about, because I woke up in the middle of the night, and I think I was probably triggered in a dream, and then all those chemicals were in my body, and then my mind just went to trying to figure out, what am I anxious about? So then I started to focus on everything that I was anxious about, and then it just spiraled into, you know, a full-blown, I wouldn't necessarily, yeah, it may have been a panic attack, but it's like, I don't even know what that was all about. And at that point, you were there to be able to help me. And it's like, we ended up going for a walk, and I don't know how long, probably 45 minutes of just walking around.
I remember it well. Can I tell the story? Because I remember it so well. It's I can remember very clearly. So I woke up, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and Steve was already lying there wide awake in this triggered state. And I was like, what's going on? And he couldn't even speak. He was so, you know, just in this anxious state.
Well, because my natural go-to response is not fight or flight, it's freeze.
Yeah. And so I was talking to him for a while, trying to pull him out of it, but it wasn't working, because, like you were saying, Ashley, he was already there. And this is before Steve had done most of the changes of childhood memory, so it was quite close to the beginning. And so we were staying with people, and they were asleep, and I didn't want to wake them. We couldn't put lights on or anything, so I managed to convince him to come outside for a walk. And this friend of ours, they had cats as well, so we had to be careful in the dark not to let the cats out. So I managed to get them outside, and they live in a cul-de-sac. And we were both barefoot. We're walking round and round this cul-de-sac, past all these houses in the dark. And I was just talking to him, constantly trying to pull him out, coming up with funny things. And he was not amused. It was just this. And I was doing I was doing the whole cabaret, and it wasn't making any difference. But we kept going. And I think one of the things that, you know, people try something for a bit and then it didn't work, but you just keep doing it until, or try something else. So one of the things was, we're walking along, and I was saying, you know, oh, look at that garden, and trying to pull his attention out of his head and onto where we were. And then at one point I said, oh, what's that up in that tree? Is that a penguin in that tree? And Steve's reaction, because I was being funny, Steve's reaction was he looked at me and he went, I don't have my glasses on. Not what's a penguin doing in a tree, but I don't have my glasses on, because he looked at me. So that's how out of it he was. But we kept going, and eventually it came down enough to go back inside and go to sleep. But it took a while, and the reason for sharing this is to say it's, you know, it is normal for it to be that intense when you've been pumping it into your system for that long. But he doesn't do that anymore, you know. So.
What I will say is that if I start to feel any kind of a trigger now, what I've learned is that my best go-to place is to go for a walk. Mm-hmm. So it's catching it early. And even though I may not feel like going for a walk, or I'm like really into, I may be editing a video or something, and it's like, you know what, I just need to go for a walk right now. So it's practicing it, training yourself so that you know this is what I need to do when I start feeling this. And the more that you practice that, the more you train yourself into that. It's like, I know, because I've done it enough now, that if I go for a walk for about a half an hour, 20 minutes, I'm going to be in a different state. Mm-hmm. So if you just have a go-to with that, continue to practice that, and then not allowing yourself to go down. So backing it up to where all of this started, it's really about zero tolerance and training yourself into no negative thoughts. I've got to have something that I'm doing in the moment right now.
And in addition to that, with the walking, I must just clarify, is listening to something happy or different or whatever. Because if you're walking, but you're thinking about the negative stuff, of course, you're continuing. It's still better than sitting and listening to it, but it's still going to affect you. So what Steve would do is listen to an audiobook, Neville Goddard, or you know, one of the others, an inspiring, uplifting audiobook, or music you love, so that it pulls your focus off. So does that help a bit, Ashley?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Yeah.
Good. All right, very good, and thank you for reaching out, and it's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll just check the chat here to see from Lisa. Lisa's got a target. Can you add Steve to the list, please? I have a target for my son. He has autism and seizures, and has been having a challenging past few days. I would love to have the group send him love. Thank you so much. Absolutely, Lisa, we will do that. Thank you for sharing that. And there's hugs for Lisa, and we are very good. Some encouragement for her. That's wonderful. And so targets. Thank you, Steve. And Katrina, this is super inspiring. Oh, yes, and you look lovely today. And she's right, you do. And Boguslawa, you were feeling so wonderful and making such progress. I think it is normal to have times where you slip backwards. Be patient with yourself. That is spot on. And so that it is something that my sister and my son and I call kickback. And it's like sore muscles when you've been exercising. So if you find you've been doing well and then suddenly all hell breaks loose and it feels like everything's gone wrong, that's like sore muscles when you've been exercising. It's just part of the progress, and just, you just go, well, it's a bad day, moving on, and don't lose sight of the progress you've made. Very good. Carrie, thank you for sharing. I was in the situation you are in now when I was much younger. You deserve only kindness and love from him. Remember, you're never alone, because we are all behind you. Thank you, Cheryl, for that. That's absolutely spot on. Cara says, I'm in a similar situation, Carrie, with my daughter's dad. He's a kind person, but is often angry and aggressive for nothing. I want to leave, but I can't for many reasons. I have noticed that recently he's been so much kinder with me. He even suggested that we try to be kind to each other as much as we can. I know it's thanks to ESC, which is the superpower. That doesn't mean I won't be leaving. We are separated, but I'm happy that it's not hard at the moment. That's wonderful. Well done, Caro. I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much for sharing that to encourage and inspire others as well. So that's really important to bear in mind, because we can affect other people on an unseen level, on an energetic level, on a quantum physics level, on an electromagnetic level. So that's great. So appreciate you sharing such a difficult situation. Thank you. And some targets. Good idea. Uploaded pictures. Very good. Thank you, Cheryl and Lisa. Everyone is so kind here. Cheryl, I have had trouble with my eyes as well. Caro, perhaps we are in a parallel universe. Yes. What a wonderful group of powerful forces of love we have here. Spot on. One thing that always makes me laugh is that a comedian said, did you know that the average person eats 9 spiders whenever I cook for them? That's very funny. I love that. Love the cul-de-sac reference. Great story. Steve, you inspired me with your shelter in place reference, and I did some coloring. Nice. It's fun to hear the stories of you two struggling, because you are brilliant teachers and it gives me hope. Good job. Yes, we've done a lot of struggling. So if we can get to here, anyone can. Really, literally. All right then. So let's do back into the superpower, and let's do some aiming. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and go into your superpower state, however you do that. So either by repeating your word or phrase, or by hugging, imagining hugging your subject, someone or something you love, and feel your heart opening up. Feel that expansion, that love, that light, that energy shining out. Allow it to spread down to your toes and to the top of your head and out to your fingertips, so you're full of that light, that energy, that love. Fill each of the 50 trillion cells of your body with that light or energy. Love each cell just for existing. Now fill the little you with that light or energy. Love that little you. And now love your subject. Fill your subject with that light or energy. And imagine them resisting, rejecting, wanting to go away, and keep them filled with that same light or energy. Very, very good. And now let's aim that light or energy at Kathy. So fill Kathy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips with that beautiful light, that energy. Love Kathy just for existing. Very good. And now to Carrie. Fill Carrie with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head, out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. And now imagine that light or energy overflowing from Carrie and filling the whole room she's in. And imagine that light or energy filling the trouble she has getting into the superpower state, whatever that is. Love it all anyway. Love Carrie anyway. Love the fact that she can't get into the superpower state when she wants to. And now see that light or energy filling Carrie's partner with the same light or energy. Love him just for existing, no matter what. Love the shouting. Fill all of that with that light, that energy. Love it all, shining that light into the darkness. And see it spreading out and filling their whole life with that light, that energy, that love. Very, very good. And now let's go on to Boguslawa. Fill Boguslawa with that same light, that energy. Love Boguslawa just for existing. And now imagine that light or energy going with Boguslawa to the shops. She's standing in the line at the shops, surrounded by that beautiful light, that energy, that love. Love the whole line. Love the time it takes to wait. Standing there in her energetic hazmat suit, beautifully protected and loved, exactly as she is. Very, very good. All right, and now let's go on to Anne and fill Anne with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Anne just for existing. Very, very good. Good job. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from Lisa, filling the whole room she's in. Feel that expansion. And now imagine that light or energy filling Lisa's son, from the tips of his toes to the top of his head and out to his fingertips. Love Lisa's son just for existing, no matter what. Very, very good. Good job. And now over to Ashley. Fill Ashley with that same light, that energy from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Ashley just for existing. Now imagine Ashley's negative thinking and the anxiety and fill all of that with this same light, this energy, this love. Love it all anyway. Shine that light into the darkness and love Ashley exactly as she is. Very good. And now over to Cheryl. Fill Cheryl with that same light, that energy, that love, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. So she's now full of that light, that energy. Love Cheryl just for existing. Very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. Very good job. And now to Caro. Fill Caro with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Caro just for existing. Very good. And now everyone else who's on the call, who doesn't have their camera on, so those who are incognito, fill all of them with that same light or energy from the tips of their toes to the top of their head, out to their fingertips. Love them all just for existing. Very good job. And now Send that light or energy to your childhood. Fill your whole childhood with that same light or energy. Love it all anyway. Fill that little you with that love and allow it to overflow and fill your whole childhood. Feel that power. And now to you, think of yourself later today, wherever you will be, whatever you're doing. Fill that version of you with the same light, that energy. Love that version of you no matter what. Very, very good. And now to anyone watching this video, fill them with that same light or energy from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love them just for existing. Very good. And you can open your eyes. Good job. How's everyone doing? All right, good job. And any questions or comments or anything before we end? So of course, from now until tomorrow, practice. Remember to keep practicing on inanimate objects because that will build your skill the fastest and the easiest. Easiest way to build the skill is to practice on your coffee cup, your toothbrush, the chair, the light, the window, all the inanimate objects around you. See that as target practice. All right, Katrina? Yeah.
Steve, does Steve
go ahead. Go ahead, Katrina.
Yeah, I can't. I've typed into the Facebook, just Googled and typed in what I've written down, and I'm getting nowhere.
Okay, Katrina, so you're on Facebook, Katrina. I'm going to look for you. Are we friends on Facebook?
Yeah.
I'll have a look for you, and if we're not friends, I'll send you a friend request, and then I'll add you to the group.
Okay. Oh,
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Very good.
And the other thing is, the photograph. I want to show this in that. What do you call it? I don't know how to send this to Cheryl. But I want to show it now to see the little girl on a horse. She's about 2 or 3. Where do I go with that? Can you see it?
No, not quite. You need to, I want to reach out and help. No, move it a little bit further to your right and a little bit up, a little bit more to the left. Oh, it's gone off now. The screen's gone off. Looks dark. But if you email it.
Girl.
Oh, I see. Yes.
No bridle, no saddle, no nothing.
That's beautiful.
So that most of my pictures were destroyed. So this is one that I'll send, but I don't know how to do that.
Can you email it to me?
Okay, right.
Email it to me, and then I'll forward it to Cheryl.
On WhatsApp, I don't know how to email that to you. What do you mean?
Or on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I will send you my phone number. Well, you can take it. Have you got a pen there?
Yeah.
Okay. So my number. Yeah. So America. So 1 is the country code, and then 702 901 2389.
So I need this number for WhatsApp. What do you mean?
Yes. So if you put that into WhatsApp, so 1-702-901-2389 into WhatsApp, you'll add me to your WhatsApp, and then just send me that picture the way you use WhatsApp.
Okay, that might not work, but sure, I can tell you tomorrow.
All right. Okay. Otherwise, email me. Just email me and just attach the picture to the email.
But I have nothing on my phone. A phone is just the phone. Everything's on the laptop.
Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough.
So
you don't have email on your phone. Okay. That's all right. So see, we'll reconvene tomorrow to see how it went with the WhatsApp.
Okay, brilliant.
All right, love. Thank you. And any other questions or anything before we go? Oh, here's some chat. Let's see. Thank you, everyone. Love you. Beautiful. I send my love to everyone. My son calmed down so much. Oh, that's lovely, Lisa. Oh, that's wonderful. We all have the superpower. I'm so grateful. You're very welcome. And let's, over the next 24 hours, let's continue sending him love. For those who want to take part, I'm going to do that. So let's all do that. You're very welcome, sweetheart. Great. All right, everyone. So we will see you again tomorrow. Oh, Steve, sorry. You
just a reminder, I throw it out there again about the next upcoming full day workshop.
Yes.
What date is that?
May 16th.
Okay.
And I will make sure that the link, actually, I don't think I've put the link up yet on the resources page. So I'll put the link on the resources page where you go for the videos to watch the recordings of these. I'll put it at the bottom there, the link to that full day workshop.
Awesome.
It's also on my Facebook page if anybody wants, on my Facebook profile. All right, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your day and tomorrow. Lots of love. See you tomorrow.